Something is incredibly wrong. Hold on.
Oh, technical issues.
No.
Technical issues.
Just wrong camera.
Oh man, this is a great first start to the scene.
Hey.
Dude, great.
I have to move this around, and then everything will be fine. There we
Ghoster,
go.
you're like standing for me. You're standing because you're too close to the ball, I think.
Okay.
It looks okay for me.
We're
Yeah.
we're live.
I'll just...
Hi everyone, welcome to the Creators Podcast. Today we'll be discussing copyright with special guest Cyberfreak and Ghoster, with co-hosts and friends of the stream Rock and G1, I guess.
Hey.
You guess.
So, why copyright? You'd ask. Well, I don't know if you'd ask, but I would. Because copyright plays a really big role, currently, surrounding VRChat, because everyone is using, copyrighted content, even if it's not always true. So, what do you guys think about? Let's start simple. About companies complaining about us using in-game assets, just as a starter.
Well, I personally haven't seen any like big companies take any issue with this so far. I don't know if there are. If there are, anybody please tell me. But I'm not aware of it. I think a lot of that's because we're not like.
It's not worth it at this
Not
point
really.
in time to actually come after us.
No,
Yeah.
that's
I think
true.
so. And it's also
True.
the fact that we're not like. Well, we can sort of get into sort of some of this later, but people. You know, if you're going into a public world in VRChat and you're taking a model from, I don't know, like a Superman model,
Yeah.
you're not paying for that model. There's they don't lose out, if you know what I mean.
No, like we
Yeah.
aren't earning from making them, and they aren't losing
Yeah.
because we are earning. No, that's right. That's a
Yeah,
very
well,
good
I
one.
mean,
It's like
I
free
think-
advertising.
Kinda.
But that advertising can be bad and good.
Yeah,
It could be,
because
hey,
you-
look at this great
Yeah.
person doing these great gestures and
you entrust, if you allow that, you entrust a total stranger to carry the name of your product, which
That's also
is a
true.
little dangerous.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely get why the companies are against this, and I think it's fair enough for them to actually go after like actually ripped assets.
Yeah.
They have a right to protect their property.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
obviously.
if it's about ripped assets, I definitely understand why they do it, and yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think it's worth it for them, so they usually don't do it.
Yeah.
Although I think it might be a different story when it comes to how about assets like models that are custom made in the likeness of a copyrighted character, but are otherwise not actually ripped from a game.
Oh, so you mean like MMD
Okay.
fan creations
Yeah.
like this one?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll save that for later because I have a few subjects that I want to get into before we
All right.
talk about
Okay.
that.
Sure.
So, Ghoster's here today. Hello, Ghoster.
hello.
We brought you on board to talk about two things, and to help you tell your story to people. So let's start with first things first. If you're comfortable with that, I would like to ask you about the article that someone wrote about you.
Yes, the Ryan Schultz one.
Yes.
What specifically were you looking for that?
Yes, the one, the person who interviewed you and then started talking ass.
Yeah, it.
Just
That
start
started
with the
with,
beginning, please.
That started with he was actually kind of doing a little bit of news here in VRChat,
Yeah.
and I was looking to get VRC traders, because I am the owner of that service, promoted a little bit, saying, hey, look at this, we're doing this in VR, this is where we could be. And I want to say like a month or two later, I did like 2 shows that I was on.
Could you
Um,
explain to the viewers what VRC Traders is for the people who have no idea?
Yeah, so VRC Traders is a Discord group that I run, and what we do there is we do avatar commissions and world commissions. While world commissions aren't that big, simply because worlds are more in depth and they take a lot to do, avatar commissions are probably one of our biggest sales. Moving anywhere at probably at this point between $1,500 and $2,000 or $3,000 a week, if not more. So we have a bunch of verified commissioners that me and the moderators of VRC Traders have gone through, talked to, verify that it can do what their role says they can do to help you find or get an avatar made in any way, shape, or form. So let's say you want a custom Battletoads like this guy. You could have that done. Or you want to look like him, but you don't have his assets. You have pictures, you can make it in his likeness. So anything and anything you can think of for avatars, there's a 90% guarantee we can probably do it.
Well, I don't want to become intrusive or get rude, but do you also allow people to take commissions for simply porting an avatar?
Yes, that is part of the deal on there, so you can become a commissioner and you can do that work as well. It's everything avatars.
No, but like just that.
Yeah, just like someone supplies them a model and then they port it.
For
and that's
money.
all they do. Yeah, for
Like
money.
So are you saying like
getting
out
a
of
model?
VRChat or into VRChat?
Yeah, into VRChat.
Into VRChat.
Like just a
Into VRChat.
model,
Okay.
and then putting it into VRChat.
It depends. The one of the biggest rules we keep on the server is you're not allowed to use any form of modified SDK or client in any of the commissions you ever do. So let's say if it's a higher poly model than what VRChat allows, not only do you have to do the port, you have to do the decimation as well.
Yeah, but that makes sense.
There's more work.
Because so you don't just like take a model, put an avatar descriptor on it, and send it away.
Nope.
Oh,
It's,
no, that's
it's
good.
more in-depth process than that.
Yeah. Because we've talked about that before, and we our team thinks that's pretty scummy. But I'm glad you're not one of those. So you basically run the market of VRChat.
In a way, there's I'm just gonna call them cousins, like distant cousins. A site called VRC Mods.
Yes.
Let me say my piece. It's a avatar, I guess, warehouse where basically you take an avatar, you put it in your scene, and you upload it. That's its shtick. That's what they do over there, and it's a great service, especially for new users. Whereas traders, we have a different motto. We're one of those ones that says, okay, you want something custom? We can make that. We make your experience.
Yeah, but do you
memorable.
also condone the fact that VRC Mods uploads paid assets?
I try not to deal with their site too much, simply because they've had a notoriety of TOS breaking avatars, modified clients,
that's the issue.
hacked SDKs. So I try to stay out of their business a little bit, simply because you don't know what you're going to get from there. And I'd rather not have the VRChat team breathing down my neck for legal reasons. So.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, that's very respectable, and I must commend you. Anyway, please do continue with the story.
Oh yes, Rain Schultz. So as I was looking to get VRC traders out there more, because we were starting to slow down, we were only getting like maybe 1 or 2 commissions a day, or maybe even 4 or 5 a week, and that was it.
Yeah.
I was looking to get the name out there again, start stirring up some what do you call that? Promotional material, just word of mouth spreading. Yeah. Hey, talk about this service and you'll get people to come. So I thought, you know what? He's a blogger. He doesn't seem like too bad of a guy. Why don't I see if he'll do an interview.
Yeah.
Like he'll interview me, ask me a few questions, and so he did that. He published the article, and then he made a second article 12 hours later.
Oh.
Ripping VRChat and more specifically my service, VRC Traders, a new one for all their copyrighted content, saying they are literally taking stuff from other games, getting paid to work on it to be able to put into this game. And then he's, comparing it to Second Life and High Fidelity and all these other,
if
sandbox
you're,
MMO
if you're
whatevers.
charging money for the cleaning duty, that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because
It's basically changing the model.
Yeah. Well, you actually put labor into that, and we as avatar creators do know that it's quite the job to optimize something or to decimate something by hand. So
Yeah, exactly.
we're on your side when it comes to this subject. If you're wondering.
Yeah, it was that article. It kind of was a very, I don't want to say egocentric view, but it was definitely a, hey, look at Half-Life and Sansar and all these other applications that aren't VRChat, and look how they're dealing with this copyright issue. And
what
then
about shallow?
compared
Was
to
it
VRChat,
shallow? Would you say it was shallow?
Yeah, it was kind of a low blow. I would say, on his part, but I took the risk of going through a blogger of sorts and saying, here's some information and stuff you want me to talk about. You can do whatever you want with it, and well, that's what he chose to do. So
that's
Yeah.
That's kind of sucks. Yeah, like you.
Yeah, it's pretty harsh.
You just really wanna share your good intentions, your business with people, and instead you end up getting backstabbed within a day. That's
not
cool.
even.
No, not
That's
even
a
a
bit of
day.
a low blow.
That's crazy.
It's a low blow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Hold on. A friend of mine, someone in chat says, with all this talk about decimation, I really wonder how my model will end up once I can upload them, if ever. How efficient is the blender?
Somebody was banned.
No,
Yeah.
it's the new trust system, and it's really fucky.
Oh,
Yes, I hate it.
the big thing with that is it's not really based off of days. I've noticed it's more based off of how much time you spend in game.
That's
So
like
if you spend a lot of time, like a lot of hours in game, it'll
I think, if
eventually
I remember
let you
right,
upload
from when I
very
was
fast.
talking with Ron at one of the fireside chats when he was talking about this, it was somewhere around, I want to say 40 hours ish.
Yeah.
But the other part of that algorithm is, making friends, talking with people, moving worlds.
Yeah.
Just being active in the game will help you, get ever so closer. Not getting kicked from rooms, not getting muted, not having your avatar blocked, stuff like that. Just being a general good person.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
like AFKing also won't help. I think you need to actually have what they call positive interactions with people, which is probably getting friend requests, sending friend requests, etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, my
The
friend
thing is that
says-
nobody. I was just gonna say, none of us. They're very restricted on the information that they give out about the trust system,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
has an upside
abuse.
of people can't exploit it, which is good.
Yeah.
But it's also a little bit irritating.
But like people who
see
generally
as a
want to
new
get in
player.
the game, they have no idea
Yeah.
how they can actively participate because the game just isn't the same without your own avatar.
Yeah, it's customization
No,
is
definitely.
a big part of this experience for me personally.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I'm pretty sure that's true for just about everyone.
I think so.
The person asked about auto decimation, and auto decimation can work fine, but make sure to avoid your face mostly.
Yeah, auto decimation
and
can
fingers.
actually automatically
You wanna
avoid
keep those
the face
spicy
as well.
Face and
Yeah.
fingers. But if you can, most models have double sided modeled hair, even like when you can't see it.
Yeah.
And feet.
Yeah.
Yes.
If you, in your tools section of Blender, when you have the mesh selected, if you go down to the bottom of that, there's a button called Remove Doubles, and then you can change the distance at which it removes doubles, and that will reduce your poly count massively.
Oh, that's
just make sure to separate the face before you do that, because you're essentially removing vertices and that will mess up shape
you don't
keys.
want
It's
to.
always risk,
You never really want to decimate the face. That's at least not
Because of the
automatically. Not automatically.
Yeah.
Or even just with any modifiers. If you want to reduce the polygon in the
can I
face, you
touch
need to
your
remodel
face?
it.
I don't have a face though.
No, he doesn't.
There's
True.
nothing
He's
under the
just a
mask.
rainbow man.
Oh, there's nothing under the mask. Then why do
Nothing.
you have
Yeah.
the mask?
Because he wanted something on his face.
Oh my god!
The grand reveal, people.
That's his face reveal.
There
we
was
have
no
it.
face in the end.
Okay. And the recent issue regarding your server, which G1 brought up to us, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is this might be an interesting topic to talk about." We have it here. I did a little bit of research on the guy on what's his name, Redams.
Yep.
What was that about? Like, I know what it was about, but what was his deal?
Yeah.
You can explain. I know the details, so feel free to talk about it. What do you think about it? Do you think he's being fair?
You should
It
explain the
definitely-
situation first.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'll explain the situation.
Oh yeah, you can do it. No,
Okay.
Yeah.
No, you
Yeah.
probably better.
I think Gozer should do it.
We had a person, as he said, come to the staff member. So me and the coder who runs the bots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
He said basically, I heard by word of mouth that somebody was doing a commission for one of my avatars.
Yeah.
And I would rather not have that done.
Yeah.
So the coder, who is basically my co-owner at this point, basically said, okay, sure, just make sure that, like, are you really the owner? I don't care how you made the assets, whatever. Prove that you have ownership.
Yeah.
And that went on for me at 2:00 in the morning, which is like
Oof.
time conversion is 2:07. That's like 7:00 in the morning for you guys. Basically saying, hey, I don't want any of my avatars being ripped or commissioned on your site.
Yeah.
And after a debate with the co-owner, I said, absolutely, that was a fair decision to say, all right, this can no longer be on there.
No.
Even to the point of later that day, I made an announcement adding in a new section of rules saying, if you would like your assets blacklisted on the server, step one is to prove that you own said assets. So,
of
show
course.
me, this is what you own. Second is then, once we prove that you have the ownership of it, we're going to place it in a channel, basically saying, hey, from now on, these assets are no longer allowed to be directly used in any form of commissioning.
Yes.
Whether that be ripping, decimation, modification, it's just not allowed. And that is to, basically say, hey, we support the fact that some people do not want their assets or their creations in VRChat, or they don't want them being ripped or modified in any way, shape, or form. So that's why we impose those rules. Third part about that, which is a really simple one, is, you won't get administrative action because you did make a post about some blacklisted assets, but the rest of the server rules do apply. So if you've been asked repeatedly to stop, then administrative action will be taken. If you continue to spam or argue with the staff, then we can still take action on that. But just asking will not get you in trouble.
No.
Fourth part of that rule, the new rule set, is while direct use of said assets is not allowed, we do allow indirect use. So pictures or like a model to make a reference off of. So a reference sheet of kind of sorts to build a new model off of, because that is not their assets. It is somebody else making it for them.
Oh yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
fair enough.
I mean, because you can't stop people from making a model in somebody else's likeness. Like, let's take GV here. That is from
Boku no Hero Academia.
My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's
I know
not
which one you're from.
it's not an official one, and this one is.
Yes.
This is a
Oh.
fan
There we
creation,
go.
and this one is a 3DS rip.
Yes, it is.
Oh, careful with that then.
Okay.
Yeah. No worries.
Even my avatar is slightly is technically unofficial. It is a Renamon that I've highly modified with a robotic arm, a foot pants, a suit,
yeah.
leg stuff, back.
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
made it to the point where, yes, the original asset is still there, but it's at a point where you can no longer call it that said asset.
No, because
Yeah,
you've
I would say
modified
that-
it sufficiently.
Yeah.
I would
Yes.
say that it's recognizable as Renamon. Like when I saw your
Yeah,
face, I
yeah,
knew
yeah.
what that was. But I would not mistake that for a Digimon. Like
No,
Digimon
No,
is
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
Clearly
wacky.
something
But if I
else.
saw this, I wouldn't assume it was a Digimon.
like even
Yeah,
though
but,
it is still
yeah.
recognizable as the source, it is not the same.
It's not
Yeah.
mistake.
It's not the
you can't
actual
really
source.
mistake it.
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
You can't exactly stop people from using the likeness. That's like forbidding. Then you'd also have to forbid like painting or drawing commissions of that
Yeah,
character, and then
yeah.
and that's just
Exactly.
like
Like
Yeah,
everything
Yeah.
takes inspiration. You know, just everything is inspired by something else.
yeah. But
Yeah.
about that case with the Monster Girl Island man, I do understand him.
Redams.
Yeah, Redams. I do understand him,
Yeah.
and you have to confirm this. But from my sources, I've heard that the person who was ripping the assets from his game asked $600 for it. Is this true?
Like I said, it was at 2:00 in the morning. I wasn't actually there for it, but all the decisions came down to me. If it was $600, that is a lot. There are
because-
some scummy people.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because his product is paid, they are making money off of his assets, and that's like an entirely different copyright stroke. Like it's in a different lane.
Mhm. Yeah.
And just to tell people, $600 is enough to get your own custom-made professional model. So it's a
basically.
lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, mind
if
you,
if
like,
you really want that, if you really want like that particular character, you can always just like for that money, you can just commission their likeness.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it'd
Totally.
be great.
But,
I just want to
sorry, go
say, professional-wise, models of those kinds of natures actively in the actual outside community that's not VR
Like
chat or
in the
modeling
industry.
in the
Yeah,
in the
no,
industry.
but I'm talking
Models
about
like that
virtual.
Let
will
him
run,
speak. Let
like-
him speak. Fine.
They will run like 2,000 to 3,000, even up to $20,000
Yeah, but
for a model of the same quality.
that's
that we're doing.
industry prices.
That's industry prices.
Yeah.
That's industry prices. But I'm talking like friends that I have who work in the industry who build models for VRChat as a hobby.
You can't.
Mhm.
I don't think you could realistically expect a consumer, just a player of the game who wants their own custom model, to pay industry prices.
No,
that's
no, exactly.
yeah,
But that's
that's
why they
pretty crazy.
don't do it. Like
that's why
in-
they don't do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
we had
Well,
this.
even now,
It's a funny one
like
because we had.
people complain
Hmm?
about the prices
Yeah.
and say like this is way too much. Like no,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
don't understand. We're putting almost 40 hours a week into an avatar for you,
Yeah.
and you want to tell us $200 is not enough? That's like $3
Yeah.
or $4
it-
an hour.
That's an issue we were discussing in a previous podcast. People have no idea how much work goes into an avatar.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
God.
So people are like, "Oh yeah, can you do this for $40?" And then you're like, $40.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Add another zero on the end there, and then we can talk.
Yeah. Well, it certainly is a business. I won't deny that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Okay.
In
Next.
terms of price,
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, good.
in terms of prices, the best thing that I've heard a model creator say and how they set up their prices is they'll put down like a baseline of like $200, and depending on how long it takes or how simple it was to actually make said avatar or like what the person wants, they'll raise or lower their price based on that.
Yeah.
That's the best way I've heard it described as.
But that's fair. Like 200 is
Yeah.
a very
That's
very steep
Yeah.
price though. More realistically, you'd go over 500, 600, especially if you
Yeah.
have your own design. You know, because you can't. There's people who take avatar bases and edit the bases so that they resemble the character, which I know happens because a friend of mine does that. But
Okay.
creating an avatar from scratch can take a month,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
If not longer.
if not
yeah.
longer. Yeah.
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So I think prices like 600, between 200 and $600 is really fair. It's not that bad.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Well,
really.
and it's not
yeah.
like we're doing high-tech renders or we're making movies
Yeah.
or anything like. We're not
Yeah.
like making money off of these assets that we're asking for. We're literally just wearing them to look different.
Yeah, to
Yeah,
express
exactly.
ourselves, I'd say.
Yes.
Well,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
even to the point of, you guys remember back in January December, January, when a lot of avatars were getting stolen by
Yeah.
hackers.
Yeah, that
Yes,
was a
yes.
mess.
Literally, I would hear stories of, "Hey, I just got this model commission, and literally the next day I got it stolen."
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
And I unfortunately I had to console the people, but I'm like, to the commissioners, I'm like, dude, that means that your avatars look so good or so accurate to whatever reference you made it that people are willing to steal that because it looks that good. I want to tell them that is a compliment, even a backhanded one, but still, it's a compliment.
Mm.
So that's
Yeah.
a good. That's a point. Yeah.
I do
Yeah.
think that's seeing things in a little too positive, but that might just be me.
That's being very positive about it.
Just gotta do your best.
Do your best.
No.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really respect people who make models.
Yeah.
Because I've tried Blender. It's not for me.
Yeah.
Oh my god. And
Yeah.
my friends, they work with Maya, and just watching them
Mhm.
work is very nice, but I couldn't do it.
Yeah,
I
exactly.
couldn't do it.
I can work with Blender, but I'm just artistically, well, for lack of a better term, I'm artistically disabled. So I'm yeah.
Aw.
I know what you mean. I
okay,
can't do
buddy.
organic
Count
shapes.
yourself down.
Yeah.
I'm sure you can create something unique.
Oh yes,
Everyone-
we have.
Gotta
Unique,
find your
yes.
style.
Unique, yes. Good, no. I know a lot
Hey,
about.
you don't have to.
I know a lot about
Like-
the
Yeah.
technical stuff. I know how to optimize existing stuff. I know how to fix like models that are already there, like fix the weight paint and stuff. But I would
Okay.
not be able to make something like that out of scratch.
Yeah, well,
Don't worry, Rock. If you need a model from scratch, I know a guy who probably knows a place you can go to.
I know a guy who knows a guy who might know some
Yeah,
other
yeah.
guys who can get you what you need.
Exactly.
let me.
I swear it's not drug trading.
Let me call my expert. Hello. Yeah, I got
Hello,
someone
is
who's
this-
selling a custom avatar.
Just to get
But
away with
like
$5.
legitimately, there were groups of people running around like doing avatar hit lists, saying, "Hey,
Yeah.
I want that avatar." They
Yeah.
would go to these groups and say, "Hey, I want this avatar," and people would go
Oh
out
my god.
find and grab that avatar from that person.
I
Oh
believe
my
that.
god.
I believe
Totally
that.
believe
That's
that was
scummy.
the
That is
heyday
scummy
of
enough.
hacking.
Yeah.
That's scummy enough that I believe it. I actually heard that I think it was something awful that they were actually just sitting quietly in Pug instances, and we're just quietly stealing models and building up like a database of stolen models as well.
Yeah.
Isn't there like a thing on GitHub?
Hey, I have a question.
There was a list posted on Pastebin.
I
Like
have
half of it was Sarny Whoop though. Half of it was Sarny Whoop.
a question from a viewer for you.
Okay.
Would there be a market for someone who uses custom bases? So basically stitching together, like Frankensteining, we call it. Is there a market for that?
Actually, yes. As there is a lot of anime-esque commissions,
Base models.
we
yeah.
do actually have a dedicated role for that called the avatar merger. So these people are able to take a base, clothing, hair, eyes, shoes, basically every little part from different models, put them all together onto one rig and make it work.
Funny thing is,
Fair enough.
Rock and I were like, oh, that doesn't look that hard. And then he tried it once and he was like,
Oh, yeah.
I actually succeeded pretty well, but
Yeah.
I feel like the viewers have already seen that during the Friday the 13th Cursed Avatar podcast.
yes. Yeah.
Oh.
Because it was cursed.
Yeah,
It was
yeah.
good though. It was good in its own way, but it was cursed.
I think your Nikkei certainly is something. If that's worth anything.
Well, I'd say it's technically really good. It's well put together. It's just the end result is just cursed for lack of
Was
a
it
better
the
term.
rigging or?
Oh no, it
machine
looks
models.
great, but it's cursed. It's
It looks
just
great.
really
It
cursed.
works really well. It's just what it is really cursed. Just like Reaper in a ballerina costume.
Yeah. That's a
Something
that's
like
a good
that.
analogy.
It's just cursed.
I've actually seen that one too.
Yeah.
I love
I
it.
actually made a
I've
Reaper
seen that one.
shotgun for that guy. So I
Nice.
just had an avatar like that, so I made a pink version of his shotgun for him.
Cool beans. Well done.
That's cool.
Awesome.
Also, something I want to say. What I like about this community is that a lot of people aren't afraid to share, which has really helped me
Yes.
and my friends in creating the nicest things with the help of others.
Yes.
I'll get into something personal here. A friend of ours, Karita, recently discovered touching other people's colliders. I'm sure you guys heard about that, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
But here's the thing. It became really sad really quickly because eventually he started to find out that people were selling the information for $70, and then he was
Yes.
forced to
Someone
make it
else
public.
figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you got to think about it like that. Of you just discovered something brand new.
Yeah.
You showed the VRChat community who is obsessed with
Oh, yeah.
mirrors and touching each other.
Yes,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
But,
Talk to
but,
each other.
but this is
Touch
what I
other
said.
people.
I said to him,
That's a great way
I
to put
understand.
that.
I understand that you want to share it. I understand that you were excited, but you should have waited until it was ready to be released because he got a lot of backlash
Yeah.
and a lot of
Oh,
annoyances.
I'm
like,
pretty sure,
Aw.
within the first couple days of him releasing that Twitch clip or anything like that,
yeah,
or wherever it came out from, he was flooded with messages.
Yeah.
There's
no, but
people asking, "Hey, how do I get in contact with this
not
guy?" He's like,
only
"Dude,
that,
don't even try."
Yeah,
He
he showed us some of the things.
He
Some of the things
got-
people said to him. It's like real, just
he got
it's like just nasty.
people were just
Because they can't feel each other.
people were fucking throwing shade at him and saying sexual assault and stuff like that, and that was so
Oh,
sad.
yeah, that as
just
well.
real
Seriously?
nasty stuff.
Yeah,
man.
yeah,
Yeah, that
um,
card, oh my god.
Yeah.
I actually had a friend who I will not name here. Don't
Yeah.
worry, it's no one anyone else here probably knows.
Uh-huh.
But
Okay.
he ranted for literally ranted to me for hours about how Karita was quote unquote selfish for not wanting to share it right away and for being elitist
But
and
it
being the cool
wasn't.
kids. That's what he said. No, it
Well, I
wasn't
mean,
like that at all.
Think about it like that. Think he just went from normal VRChat user status to Owlboy status in less than a day.
Yeah.
He's trying.
He's trying.
He's trying.
He's trying. He's really trying.
And then immediately
Yeah.
kicked down a couple notches. But Still, to be able to go
Yeah.
from an absolute normal person who's, may not be recognizable, might have a small following, to everybody knows who you are.
Yeah.
Mm.
It's kind of one of those trips that you get.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to experience that a little bit myself, where I've got enough people in my community, and we're going to say, quote unquote, networked enough here in VRChat.
Yeah.
Definitely not just hanging out normally. It's networking, I swear.
Yeah, totally.
That people will recognize me out of the blue. I'm like, hi, I don't know you. Like, oh, but you're the owner of, VRC Traders. I'm like,
Yeah.
hi, how you doing?
But people
And,
were actively harassing him over it, and he rushed it to completion just to get rid of all the criticism. And it's just really sad.
It's the same thing with the Ugandan meme. That literally started out as a joke, which then spiraled out of control into its own little pit.
I know a
Thank
big part
God-
of that
thank
was
God that's dead.
because some big YouTubers did videos on VRChat with the Knuckles meme.
Oh,
as well.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's how
That
I
was
got
a big
into
part
it.
of that.
That was the great
It's one of those
boom
things of
January 2018.
Yep.
once you hit that
Knuckles explosion.
one thing, the viral thing on VRChat,
Yeah.
almost everybody will know about it.
Yeah.
And guess
Yeah.
what? You're going to attract a lot of attention, and most of it is not good. Some of
No.
it will be asking, "Hey, dude, that's awesome! Like, great. Would you be able to share it?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then stuff like that. But you also
But-
get people saying, "Hey, why haven't you shared this yet? This is
But
you're a
it
terrible
was
person."
his own mistake, and he admitted
Yeah.
that, but there was no way
Mhm.
back.
Yeah, no way back from
That
that.
was
once you've
the
shown
issue.
people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
we're glad it's here. But yeah, it's just the way it went. It made me really sad, and I didn't even know him that well, but just seeing people be so
Yeah.
disgusting, it
Just
just
so
hurt
entitled.
me. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a
Entitled.
big reason why I play in VRChat too, because a lot of society is like that today. So I don't really like to keep up with news.
Yeah, we
or
live in a
stuff
society.
Yeah,
Like
we live
Yeah,
in
we
a
live in a
society.
We're our own
Yeah.
perfect little
Yeah.
society.
that. Yeah,
Yeah.
we're our own
Okay, so-
society.
Question for you guys then: If
Go ahead.
let's say the VRChat dev team were to implement that feature,
Yeah.
that wasn't just client side, but it was like global, so you could see somebody walking up to another person and actually touching and interacting with them. If the person decided to put dynamic bones on, would you want that or would you not?
From what?
We,
I would
we
say
discussed
personally,
this,
yes.
We discussed this beforehand, and it would only work if it would be restricted to like friends, because you don't want any random person to
Mhm.
come up to you and touch your tits or something.
Or
Yeah,
or
the-
toggle
Wherever
just
else
have
you
it
want to
per-
place it.
Yeah,
There
just
should
per
be-
user settings.
Yeah,
Just
yeah,
like,
There
yeah.
should be
I would say
some
just toggle
form of
feature.
Because
Yeah.
because like
They're working on that.
because I'm
They
like
already said
Are they?
they're working on
we
that.
don't
I'm
even
pretty
Nice.
sure they are. That's what I've heard.
Mm.
too.
Okay.
we don't even have the ability to block a singular avatar. We have to block the entire person. So
Yes, and that also sucks.
Yeah.
Well, no, what I was asking is, would you want to see it implemented in the game,
Yeah.
regardless of
Yes.
how
yeah,
it's
no,
Yes.
of course,
Yes,
but
absolutely.
not
Absolutely.
Rocks is
Yes,
like,
yes,
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 but
yes,
not-
Yes, yeah.
Give me, give me.
yes,
No.
yes, yes.
Actually, I personally don't even care. I
no.
personally don't even care about it. I just think it would be neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would
Oh, yeah,
it would
I
be
was
nice.
I just want more
It adds
features.
that level of realism
Yeah.
that like
Yeah.
we don't have just quite yet.
No.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I'm all
We
for
just
more
need them haptic
features.
suits from Ready
Yeah,
Player
I
One.
do
That's all
like
we need.
features that I haven't
Yeah.
seen since January because that's when I,
I
joined.
just I just want like I don't make I think we all know that the touching people thing, everyone's just using it for lewd models, right? Everybody, right? That's not a surprise.
No, no, but
Yeah.
that's
So-
fine.
That's
That's
totally
fine.
cool. One of the things I love about this
People can
game
do what
is
they
that
want.
it's just one huge creative sandbox.
Yeah, yeah.
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 For
I
better
love that. I
or
think
for worse.
if you want to
better or
like,
for worse.
if you want to sit around
We'll let everyone
like,
else decide.
dressed as anime girls, like grabbing each other, just don't do it in the middle of the pug. That's all I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Yep.
Just go to
Yeah,
your own room. Don't do it in the middle
to
of the
your
pug. I'm
take
trying
it
to
to your
drink.
private
You know what I mean?
instance,
That's my
yeah.
general rule with anything. As long
I
as it
don't-
doesn't affect
Mhm.
me in my personal life, I don't care what you do.
Yeah,
Totally,
exactly.
Totally.
Yeah.
I
That's
don't.
a
And
good
it was
philosophy.
getting bad though. Like people were like going ham in the Great Pug, like in a corner somewhere.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
I
I've
legit-
seen
You know,
things like
crap you
that.
not, they do stuff like that everywhere,
Yeah.
and you're like,
Oh
guys,
my god.
Yeah.
this is a public room.
No, but
Well,
I
this-
agree. Like
this
I
is an
don't,
American-based server.
I-
We don't do that here.
I don't
There's a 10-year-old
mind.
Knuckles over there. Calm down.
I don't mind people doing their business in VR. Like, do it, whatever, but
Yeah.
don't do it in a public instance. That's just weird.
That's all I'm
Like,
saying.
Exactly.
like you
all
wouldn't
I'm
you
saying.
wouldn't
Weird.
fuck someone in a bar. Come on.
It's like people who have sex on the subway in like big cities. It's like,
Yeah,
why?
yeah, or
What's the goal from this?
or
What
in
do
the
you get
in
out
the
of
bathroom
this?
or something. You know, just don't
Hey,
do
you
it.
know that's somebody's fetish, right?
Yeah, of course,
Oh.
that doesn't surprise
Pardon.
me. But
Yeah.
There's a
Humans
fetish
are
for
like-
everything.
also-
Who am I kidding?
There is.
Rule
Understatement.
34 exists.
This-
There's a fetish for everything.
this is a bit of my own gripe. But the VRChat devs, I think, would very much profit from moderators, just people in public
Yes.
instances
Um,
taking care of shit.
they have
Why
a
not?
small team of moderators, I know, but
Yeah, they
it's
do.
not a very large one. And
Well,
it's
the
very
thing is
limited.
with that,
ahead.
I have actually talked with them about that because at one point I have wanted to become a moderator for the VRChat team,
Yeah, of
and
course.
from what it seems like, they want to have a dedicated team that's online for them. That's it.
Yeah.
Basically, you're full-time employed to be a moderator of this game.
Yeah.
They'd rather not do community-based moderation, where I think it could be beneficial.
Yeah,
Like you can't do bans or you can't do bans, and you can't do maybe some things, but to have the existing Discord moderators of
Yeah.
the main VRChat
or
Discord.
just like basically
Have
having
elevated
like
permissions.
VR police, basically.
Mhm.
I mean,
Or
there
you
are
could do it-
VR
Like I've
police
seen
groups.
I know this is kind of off topic, but like Gmod, I used to play Gmod a bunch, and moderators in that game are really well set up, where you have like lower level moderators who can call in higher levels if they need to. basically.
Yeah.
But those are like per server. Those aren't
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
those
I'm
are
pretty
per
sure
server.
they're per server, so it
Yeah,
depends on how the
no.
server has it set up.
I
I've
know
also
that,
had
but, like,
moderators where
I just thought that was a good example.
yeah, I
And-
get
and-
your point.
and the-
Totally.
Like
totally.
the
Yeah.
issue with the current moderation is people who deserve to get banned don't, and people who do deserve to get banned, who don't deserve to get banned, get banned.
I-
Yeah.
rest in peace,
I think-
Clade's permissions.
Rest in peace, Trouser. You know.
I think that's
Oh,
a bit
yeah,
of a
that too.
blanket. I think that's a bit of a blanket statement. I have seen and know personally people who have, got banned and stuff that
Yeah.
I don't think should have, and people that should have, I think, but haven't.
Yeah.
But I agree. One of my biggest, I love this game and I love
Yeah.
this community, and I know that because I'm on the VRChat Discord a ton, and everybody's got their own ideas, and I don't agree with all of them, but I know that our hearts
But
are all
they're
in the right place. We all
trying.
want what's best.
We're all
Yeah.
going to the one place, but not talking about that one place we're going to.
Exactly. But my biggest gripe with this game is definitely the moderation.
Yeah.
Because the current moderation system, where it's a Google Doc, where you have to post video evidence, which they
Yes.
expect us
2
to be
minutes.
recording all the time, but don't give us
2
the ability
minutes,
to
2
record all the
minutes.
time.
Yeah, 2 minutes.
2
Yeah.
minutes.
That's a bit. It's a bit much
Well,
to
it's
expect a
excessive.
game with this
Yeah.
many players to run like that. But
Yeah.
I do know that system was implemented at a time when there were a lot less people.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
everybody sort of knew each other. That was a lot more realistic of an option for moderation.
Yeah,
Also,
they,
it's
they
2017.
need they need to modernize
Shout out
their.
to August
They,
2017.
they need to
Yeah.
they need to
That's what I think.
modernize their moderation and
That's
and
my
a few
point.
of their
Yeah.
policies. Yeah, and I mean, you don't want to impair the creativity of the user base, because that's the last thing you should do. I'm very
Mhm.
content with the per person poly, like the particle limiter. That's a good step in the right direction. You're
That's
not
way better than what they tried at
like
first.
you're
yeah.
not limiting anyone's creativity, but you're saving people who run the game on toasters, which is fair.
Totally.
Exactly.
Mhm. Or people who are paranoid of being crashed, which is fair
Okay,
enough. I've run into
so-
people who just had particles disabled entirely.
Someone in
I have the
chat
particle
said.
limiter on.
Someone in
I
chat
I
said.
don't. I
To
haven't
be
turned it on
fair,
I
yet.
hate.
to
I haven't
be
either, honestly.
Hold on, GV. What were you saying?
someone in chat says, to be fair, you can't judge someone on 30 seconds. Trust me, in this game you can.
Yeah,
depends.
especially if
In a
you're
lot of
in.
ways.
Yeah.
It's the kind of one of those. Not that we're superior, but the fact that VR versus desktop, generally VR people, because they've spent the money to do the system, so graphics card, CPU, whatever else you need, plus
I know
the
the
VR
feel.
headset. That's a lot of money you had to dump just to
Yeah.
play like this. They're generally VR players are not as bad as desktop users, pure desktop users that don't have any
no,
VR.
that
Because
that is fair, but there are also people who abuse. Well, this is the main problem. There's people who upload worlds with like incredibly unoptimized avatars
Yes.
with incredibly laggy particle effects, and they're not like
Yeah, real-time
ooh,
lights.
yeah,
There we go. We're good.
and 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 nothing gets done about that. Some desktop user would just waltz in
Yeah.
there and they're like, "Oh, cute," and then they lag the shit out of everyone. Like, I remember back
Yeah.
a few weeks back, there was like this wolf avatar with rainbows, but it had a shit ton of real time
Oh,
lights,
yeah.
and whenever someone would
Oh,
gesture,
yes.
the entire server would lag.
That thing was
And like that sort
Yeah.
of things, of course, you can test your map performance, you can test this and that it doesn't have the Pope, but please consider avatar optimization for green lighting worlds, because avatar worlds are the source of bad performance right now, and the pug.
Yes.
A large
In a lot
source.
of cases. In a lot of
they're a large
Yes.
source.
Yes.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
and most of them too barely have any work put into them. They're literally like ripped from the game, fixed it so it works in VRChat, and that's it. Maybe add
Yeah.
a few effects. Boom.
Yeah,
done.
yeah.
Um,
But that's the main issue.
No offense to those
Absolutely
people, though.
less.
As long as they're optimized, no offense to those people, sometimes a model is enough.
Yeah, yeah,
As long as you're
Yeah, sometimes a
optimized.
model's enough. Yeah.
As long as you're
don't-
optimized
but
and you're
don't-
happy with it.
Don't
Awesome.
upload an 80 material avatar with real time lights. Things like that just shouldn't be
Yes.
allowed. Like
Yeah.
Just
for
apples your avatar,
personal
you're gonna put them in public.
for
Hey,
personal
say,
sounds
use.
remember that
painful.
one? You remember that one prop you had that was like 50 materials and a couple?
Yeah.
Oh god.
I optimized
Yeah, I
that.
know.
Okay.
I know.
Looks like someone needs
Okay.
spanking.
I told you,
It wasn't even
no
an avatar. It
looting
was just a
in
prop in
public.
his hand.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't worry, this isn't looted, this is in public.
it is.
Wait, are we saying
Oh.
we can be lewd now?
No,
No,
No.
no.
Just the collective no.
Not here.
Not here.
Just all three
Shield-
of your hands.
shield
in
your
sync.
eyes.
No.
No! Not in front of the kids. Wait, what kids? Wait, is that what a kid?
All right.
Oh man.
Oh my.
I am ashamed
all right.
of your existence.
Get over it.
Okay.
Oh, man.
I have a good one here. Game rips versus fan art. Which is a very, very important subject, especially regarding the Japanese community.
Yes.
Because
Oh,
because people have been bitching, and yeah, I'm gonna say bitching. Japanese people
no, I know.
have been really dickish because they put on their hard work, their Mika Mika dance avatars on Bowl Roll, and then they get pissy because their work shows up in VRChat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're putting it out
Well,
there
it's
for
the same
free.
thing as what we were talking about earlier. Yeah, you're
Yeah.
putting it out there for free, but you don't expect it to be used in that certain way.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So-
true enough.
So what's your stance on that, Dan? Like people locking their avatars, sort of say, locking their models.
I would say yes. I mean, I agree with people. They can do whatever they want with their assets.
Yeah.
I have built a light bulb in the most terrible of quality for a person who really likes one shot. I built a broken version and a normal version, and I, showed him how to set it up, put it on his avatar, and he had some animations and stuff done, and he's building a one-shot world right now.
Yeah.
Like literally taking the game, screenshots, stuff like that, building the world, and he's about to he's just getting into the trigger section of making the world work, just like it does in the actual game.
Mm-hmm.
So I think people are, if they want to provide assets out to the community in a certain way, that's on them.
Yeah.
But they get to choose what they want the community to do with it. If they want it to be locked so only certain people can access it, if they want it to be open and free so anyone can use it.
But that's fine. But don't complain when people take your free assets and use them in VRChat. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Especially for personal use.
Yeah, because
I would say.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, you go first. Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just gonna expand on Ghoster. So I was just gonna say, I totally think if people want to, if people, especially in the Japanese community, because there's a lot of MMD creators out there.
Yeah.
If they make their own, model, they put it up on Bullroll, they say, do not use in VRChat, right? That's totally cool, but and I think people should respect that. If they appreciate that person's work, they should. But
they should.
You cannot realistically expect everybody to follow that. You can't.
But here's the thing. Here's where avatar commissions get a bit gray. This is my own opinion. In the Miku Miku Dance end user license agreement is stated, you may never use this program or its assets for monetary gain. So that's why I'm a little I understand it. Why people ask money because they brush up the models, but technically, on a very, very straightforward, technical, legal level,
perspective.
You're not allowed to make money off MMD assets. But I'm not saying you shouldn't. Anyway. I'm not saying you won't, but I guess it's illegal in some way. On a very, very technical level, it's illegal.
Well, it's not really, because
it's against the MMD terms of service.
Yeah, it's against the MMD terms of service.
I just wanted to say real quick, and I think you're going to say something similar. But I just want to say that at what can you read that exact? Do you have the exact line to me again? Do you have the exact line that it said, or in the?
No, I just know it is.
Because at what point does it become an MMD? At what point does the EULA take ownership? Is it the moment that it's saved as a PMX or PMD file? Is it the moment that it's used in
anything
in MMD?
Anything within MMD, like MMD videos, MMD models, are legally not allowed to earn money.
So it's as soon as it's saved as an PMD file.
As you said, within the editor. What I wanted to go off of was the fact that people are providing these assets under that same EULA for free on different sites.
Yeah. But,
whereas people who do the commissions for them are getting it secondhand and doing different kinds of work with it.
That's what I was
So
I would
are you
agree
saying
with
that
Gus.
those commissioners
I
are
kind
bound
of
by the
agree.
EULA that they didn't agree to?
I kind of agree.
Exactly.
But I do understand, the people who have an issue with it, because I do it myself. Well, I don't earn money off of commissions, but I know people who do, and I kind of get it, but I also understand the Japanese community very well.
Yeah.
There's actually been quite a stir in the community as well, because actually this whole controversy of MMD being used in VRChat has had something else that probably not everyone is fully aware of yet.
Oh, please share it.
There's a tool for Unity. It's called MMD for Mechanim. I don't really know how to pronounce that.
Yeah.
It's Unity term.
Oh yeah.
Basically,
I think it's Mechanim.
What it does is it can convert PMX and PMD files as well as their associated motions and poses. and it can convert it into an FBX ready to be used in Unity and ready to be rigged as humanoid, etc.
Oh.
The offer of that in some newer versions has actually put up a little bit of a countermeasure. If it detects that that the same project also contains the VRChat SDK, it will just break your project basically. I think it either breaks the
Wow.
SDK or breaks itself.
That's
Hmm.
kind of
Wow.
illegal.
No, I mean,
Because you're
yes,
messing with
putting
someone
in
else's file
tools-
and projects.
putting in tools to intentionally disrupt use of it is definitely probably not allowed. But
Yeah.
I can understand where they're coming from. That's basically
Yeah, I can
protecting
understand. Yeah.
the stuff that other people have asked for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
No,
I
I understand it. I'm
like
just saying
even though
it's illegal.
it's really volatile and really aggressive, I
Mhm.
do understand.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because
Although
Yeah, we're not
they
personally
are
Don't
I
understand.
They
personally don't really
are-
like the
Yeah.
practice.
no, of course, but they are protecting the end user license agreement of the
Yep.
product they adore. So I can't really blame them. It's scummy.
Yeah.
It's shit. I agree with you, but I also agree with them because
Yeah,
I
Same.
think I would do.
Yeah.
If I could, I would have done the same.
I just want to say about the MMD for Mechanism thing. Like Cyber said, if when you install MMD for Mechanism,
Hmm.
in the EULA, it must say that it does that. It must say that it's going to do
I
that.
think it
Screw up
does.
your Unity project if that's what it does, because otherwise, like you said, that's illegal. That they can't make
Yeah.
Here,
changes
No,
to
but
your
listen,
I
computer.
think
listen,
they actually
listen.
do say that.
guys.
Yes.
Friend
I'm
of
ready,
mine,
I'm ready.
friend of mine in chat says something that really kind of puts this all together. It's basically
Yeah.
anti-piracy measures.
Good point.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, as
Yeah.
long as you notify the user that they're in there, they can't really complain.
No.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Well,
true.
and even to that point, the Cats tool plugin, there were some anti-piracy measures implemented in that specifically for VRChat. You know,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah,
against
the-
avatar
Copy
stealers.
protection.
yeah,
that
the
is correct.
avatar stealing.
yeah.
So I mean,
I love cats, by the way. I really do love
Yep.
that tool. It's
Yeah,
helped
I love
me
the
a
tool.
lot.
It's
But
a super useful tool. It's
after
fantastic
that
for people who are just
February-
getting started.
January, February, March troll hacker fest that
Yeah.
VRChat was there for a little bit.
Mhm.
A lot of sources have kind of gone, "Whoa, what's going on here? We need to find ways to protect our stuff." Even to the point of some people were modding their clients to protect themselves,
Yeah,
I remember that.
and then getting banned for that.
yeah.
Yeah.
I know a couple people who actually did that and then
Yeah.
got banned and were like, "What do you mean? Why am I'm modifying my client to protect my computer from the other people
Yeah,
who
but-
are modifying their
but-
client to break your computer?"
But
Mhm.
in defense of the VRChat team, it is stated
Yep.
that you are not allowed to modify your client.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, they
Or SDK.
No,
Yeah.
that's not stated.
No.
no,
No,
SDK
it is.
is involved.
SDK isn't stated. Is stated.
It is.
You cannot
I haven't
modify
read
any
it.
object. You cannot actually modify any object code, but it's technically not against the terms of service to modify the VRChat SDK source code to the CS files, which is what they refer to.
Even the
You're
new
allowed to
one?
modify that.
Even the new
Yeah.
terms of service?
Yeah.
How
Oh.
new is that?
I haven't read it.
That was like a
Couple
month or
weeks.
two ago.
Yeah.
Uh,
Then
the one-
I'm probably referring to the same terms of service. Yeah, if it's a month or two ago, because I think I read them last week.
Okay.
One of the few
It's-
terms of service you actually read.
Yeah.
But like the VRChat terms of
Well,
service is surprisingly easy
yeah.
to read.
Yeah,
It's pretty
but
quick to read, easy.
Mostly
Yeah.
because we're very involved in the process and in the legal side of things, so it's really
Yeah.
important to stay up to date with that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
I do think
Want to break any rules?
I do think
newest
like,
one did
honestly
implement a lot of,
honestly I do understand the
copyright stuff
poly
into
limit, but please raise it to 65.
Dude,
No,
I
Give
know
us a
a
material
long
say-
time ago.
I wanna
this isn't
say-
probably valid
You go
still,
ahead.
but yeah, I know a long time ago. This probably isn't still valid, but I heard of a system that basically it's like the trust system where it's based off of your like kicks from a room or requests to be banned or like muted or anything like that.
Okay.
And basically, people who have a higher score on that system would have had like a higher poly limit to upload to.
That
And then
was
people
debated.
who like
I think
Avatar
that
spam.
might be implemented later. I do remember Ron
Okay.
talking about that.
yeah,
But
I was gonna say
I think they just wanted to roll out this trust system as quickly as possible with it as few
Yeah.
bugs as or very limited in its scope, but with the possibility to become something better.
Oh, here's a
I can see something like
here's
that.
here's a fun fact. One of our
Go ahead.
viewers said, they, all the companies are legally they need to make their end user license agreement readable because there's a new law in Europe that says that
Yeah,
you need to
Yeah,
yeah.
what was it?
the GRPD, I think.
GDPR. but
GDPR,
Yeah,
yes.
GDPR, yeah.
Yeah, whatever that is.
That one.
that didn't pass though.
Did it?
No,
They're-
it did.
No,
Yeah,
no,
it-
not
it-
passed a
GDPR. I'm
long
thinking
time
of.
ago.
No, yeah, you're right. I'm thinking of something else.
Yeah, you.
I was thinking of the whole copyright thing that they were pushing
Yeah,
through
the
recently, but it
the
didn't pass. They're
Article
pushing it back to
13 one,
September.
that was insane.
That was it. That's what I was.
That
thinking about.
was
Yeah.
Sorry.
insane.
That one.
Can we
Yeah.
talk about that for a bit? Basically, they wanted
Alright,
to.
buddy.
I'm out of the loop.
They basically wanted to kill fair use.
Yeah.
All right, I heard about
Yeah.
that.
What?
I've had yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
they wanted to kill fair use.
damn Europeans.
If you used someone's song or a picture of someone in a video, they could sue you.
Mhm.
That
I think
didn't
they called
happen.
it the
Stupid.
potential death of a ban on memes. I think.
Yeah.
it
That's
was
that,
colloquially referred
that
to.
was
I
the meme.
I love how that. I love how
They were
that was how it
trying
was
to
referred
ban
to.
memes.
Yeah,
Whenever
Yeah.
I
the
saw
meme
it
ban.
mentioned
Like,
on
that's-
Reddit to grab people's attention about this issue because it's a serious issue. Thank God
Yeah.
it didn't pass.
Yeah.
But yeah, they always refer to it as a ban on memes
Yeah,
because
yeah.
God, we should have
everybody
done
loves
that
memes.
for net
Yeah.
neutrality in the U.S. That would have been. that would
Oh,
pull
yeah,
more
that net
people in.
neutrality.
Yeah.
I
Gotta get
remember
our memes.
Reddit. I remember Reddit being unusable for a day because of something that's something going on in the US. I don't.
Yeah,
I barely know the
really-
details.
That was really
Yeah.
bothersome, but it just
It was-
baffles
Yeah.
me that
Thing.
something like that
I
would
don't like
even
people in the country.
get it. Like
Don't
it
The fact
baffles.
that law got
It
passed.
just it just shows how out of the loop the higher ups are. Really.
They are.
yeah.
They are.
Mm. All they care about is money and business. They
But
don't care about anything else.
The vote didn't go through though.
No,
it failed. It didn't pass.
the people helped us. They saved
Yeah,
memes.
they are coming back to it in September though,
But
in an edited form.
then
So that'll be a different thing.
then Brexit came and the people left us.
Don't even do it. Don't even talk to me about Brexit. Don't even.
That's another
Wait, so,
podcast.
if you don't mind me
That's
asking, where do you
another
guys
podcast.
hail from?
from
I'm
the
US.
UK.
Yeah,
US.
me and Rocker from the Netherlands.
Yes.
Well,
We don't
crap.
exist.
I
Yeah,
see.
we
I
all
see how
live in
those
different
couches
time
sat.
zones.
European Americans.
Yeah, yeah.
Fair enough. Your part
Well, I
has
actually
been
can't,
your
sit
part
over
has
there
been
'cause if I look that
reinforced.
direction, I just lag for some
Oh, yeah,
reason.
It's the unintentional side effect that the Americans and Europeans separate themselves accordingly.
Thanks to Brexit,
Yeah,
we're getting out of there. We're gonna have to be close to you guys.
how
I'm like the
how did you
mediator.
guys like Trump coming over? I heard you guys had a
Yeah.
heyday with that.
Dude, I'm from Scotland, so we had a
Let's
no,
not.
we had like people
let-
drop
let-
in. But
yeah,
yeah, let's
let's
not make
get
that
off
about the
politics.
podcast.
let's
On
let's not.
politics.
I
No
Too
politics.
volatile. Too
Bad.
volatile. Not on topic.
Bad.
You-
Retreat. Abort.
I'm gonna give my political opinion here right now, and it's very
Yeah,
good.
we're not allowed
It's
to.
Oh,
very
God.
good. Hold
That
on.
political
I'm
opinion
gonna
is
look
the fact
into.
that we're
I'm
not
gonna
allowed
look
to have
into it.
political opinions here.
I don't give a
Somebody
shit.
stop this man.
I don't give a
Oh,
shit.
fuck.
Oh, God.
There we go.
Stop this
I
man.
don't give a
He's
shit.
insane.
God! Oh God!
There we go.
Go, Matt. Stop
Oh, he
sending me.
doesn't
Stop
care.
sending me invites.
Okay,
Go,
that's
Matt.
a good-
I'm busy.
That's a good political opinion. I
That's
agree
my
with that.
that's my political opinion. I don't care.
Yeah.
And
That's a
people,
good- that's a good
honest,
opinion.
honest criticism. People should stop making such a big deal out of everything regarding
Yeah.
politics.
That's my
Yeah.
again what I said earlier. I don't care what you do as long as it doesn't affect me.
Here's
Yeah,
the issue.
In any
Here's the
negative way.
issue. The more
Let's not
you
make this a
yell,
politics
If
the
cast.
it's
more
positive,
the
go
more
for it.
you cry, the more you get upset,
Oh my god.
the more attention the people you don't like get. So
You know who
Exactly.
started this though? It was Rock. He started all the politics.
What politics? What?
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, you started
Anyway,
those MMD,
let's
those
get-
MMD guys with the mechanism, and then it started
Back
in
on track.
politics right off of
Back
that.
on
Yeah.
track.
Back on track.
I was still on track. Back on track.
Anyway, so I wanted to say for the 65K limit,
Go ahead.
no, absolutely no. I do not believe they should increase it.
I wanted
Why
to.
not?
I wanted. Yeah. I just
Okay,
was gonna.
why
I just wanted to say something.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to say, Rock and I have been like talking on the VRChat Discord a lot about this recently, like every day for like the past like 4 days.
Yeah.
And we I think we hate the current poly limit. I think it should definitely be upped to 65. But what should be in place is a material count limit.
Yeah.
That is
Because-
what matters.
We
Yeah.
have no limits on materials or dynamic bones, even though those are the biggest killers.
Yeah.
Like an
Dynamic
utmost,
bones aren't too bad anymore.
They
though. In
are.
5.3, they were terrible.
Trust me. Above
if you have
above a
200 dynamic
certain
bones in the hair,
limit,
that's pretty bad.
things
Oh,
get
yeah.
really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I believe that the 20K limit is there for beginner users to basically say, hey, for optimization purposes, because we know you're not going to be able to do that, we're going to impose this limit saying, hey, you need to bring it down to this level so that you have a limited number of meshes, you have a limited number of materials, hopefully.
But it
and you
doesn't limit
can't
materials
do
at all.
much.
No, it doesn't limit
I know it
materials.
doesn't limit
That's the
materials,
problem.
but like, how many materials are you going to have on one mesh? 30? 50? Come on.
I've seen 50.
Yeah.
I've seen
I have.
50.
52, it's
I
terrible.
have.
We need sensible limits exactly to teach newer users what matters and what doesn't matter.
I
Like,
can see where you're coming from. I honestly
I
haven't
understand
thought
it,
about that
but it
angle before.
also incapacitates the more veteran users.
That's what I was going
Yeah.
to say. Would you then, how would you feel about once you have sort of similar to the trust
Current
system?
trust system.
Once you have a certain experience with avatars, whether it be how many you've uploaded, which it wasn't a good idea, or like how long you played the game, whatever, then that gets upped as your
Yeah,
experience
absolutely. I
level.
definitely agree with that.
Yeah,
But the problem
why-
is the
because
fact that
like I
we're
get
modifying
you.
the SDK to get these in.
Yeah.
Is the
I'm
problem.
not. I mean,
No, we're not.
No comment.
No.
he just said we. It's like the colloquial we, just like as a community.
Yeah, we as a
Some people-
community are modifying the SDK to get in our avatars because 20K is
Yeah.
very suffocating.
20k is too low, in my
Yeah.
opinion.
And that's why I thought
Well,
that
we don't
system
need
that I mentioned
animation
earlier was
quality
such a good
models.
idea too, because then
We
it
don't
would really
need
separate the people who
300,000
actually
poly
care about
models.
No, but
making
that-
models
that's
or like,
an-
interacting with people.
that's
with
the-
the people who are just spamming particles.
That's the
Well,
other
yeah, no,
stuff like
end.
that.
there's intentional limits for theirs.
That's the
But
other
yeah,
end.
well,
Like
now there is.
I
but-
understand the limit, but 20K is not the way to go. But 300 polygons is an entirely different story. That's insane.
300k. 300k. you mean?
300,000
Yeah.
polygons.
Yeah, 300K.
Yeah.
That's too much.
Yeah.
Well, okay,
Yeah.
so the one thing I'll say right now, normal maps are the key to getting great models under 20K.
I do
Yeah, dude.
agree with
And-
that.
Great.
I do
Almost
agree with that.
All games that you see on for consoles and stuff, I would say probably up until recently, up until the last 2 or 3 years, all those avatars have been under 20K. They've been as limited as possible because every single one of those points requires a calculation.
Mm-hmm.
And those
Mhm.
calculations on a system that's meant to perform at 30 FPS or 60 FPS on a game, they have to limit what they can actually put
Yeah.
into those. They have to optimize
Mhm.
the ass load out of these games just to get them to run.
Yeah, but that's
Efficiently.
what that's
big
why
point
I
of that-
like a lot of models that are created by fans suffer from bad optimization, but game rips. I have not ripped game. Nintendo is a really
Okay, yeah.
Nintendo is a really big fan of optimized models with amazing normal maps. Amazing
Yeah.
normal maps.
big thing between like big companies and people in VRChat too, though, is that big companies have huge teams that can work on a
Yeah.
single avatar at a time, whereas this is like one person who's maybe
Yeah.
just learned Blender. So
I do.
The other part of that is I do want to make a mention of one of the commissioners or group commissioners that I've actually experienced. One of the big ones, which you've got one of your models from, Wrinkle and
Oh,
ShamWow. They
Okay.
work as a kind of group team on avatars. There's a few other people who represent teams who say, hey, yeah, I'll basically be the mediator between the client and the team making avatars.
Yeah.
I've talked with them. I've actually even discussed in legal details with some of the dev team saying, hey, I know technically you're not a part of my server, but I want to ask legalities is having a team working on an avatar for somebody technically legal? He said, as long as it doesn't, break any of the other terms of service agreements, you're
Yeah.
fine.
Why would that
Okay,
be
good.
illegal?
Hmm.
Uh,
Actually, yeah. No,
There's
go on.
reasons. I would say probably one of the reasons is monetary. First of all, monetary, which is actually what a lot of people ask about is, A, how much does it cost? B, am I taking a cut? And, how do I pay? Those are
Yeah.
the top three money questions I get asked all the time.
Yeah.
But for teams, it's kind of like, how do you divide up that money? Is it the person at the top who's taking in the commissions getting paid and then having other people do the work? Or is it, he takes in the money and then divides it out evenly based on who worked on it? Or is he just basically like a recruiter where he says, I'll take that commission and I'll pass it to this person will do it, and they get paid.
Yeah, but
And then I'll take a small cut.
that's
Okay.
that's not the problem of the VRChat devs. That's their problem.
yeah, I was gonna say
Uh,
that would be based on the team, though.
Yeah, that's
VRChat
the
devs will
team's
have
issue. The
responsibility for determining
VRChat
how they
devs
split
have
their money up.
nothing to do with that.
Yeah,
At the moment, until they implement a marketplace, which, oh my god, I cannot wait.
Well, I don't think that's
Yeah.
gonna happen
Dude, you'll be
because
out of a
at
job.
that point you're gonna have legal issues.
yes, very many legal issues.
So if they want to do that, make
I'll
sure
be
that
impressed
doesn't
if they do
happen because that'll be the death of this game.
Not necessarily. I mean,
yes,
not to
necessarily.
say good comparisons are like
because if
Sansar or High Fidelity, but
because Vive,
they have
Vive
their
sponsors
marketplace.
VRChat, right? Like
Yeah, but
VRChat gets sponsored
no,
by
no.
Vive.
They have investors. So
Okay.
HTC invests in VRChat.
but-
So let's say
But that's not my
Okay.
point. Because
Yeah.
at the
Okay.
moment they introduce a marketplace of some sorts, like not person
good
to
luck
person.
running that.
No. Like not person to person transactions for cleanup duty, basically. You're gonna have people earning money off of ripped assets.
Yeah. And as
But
soon
like
as,
I said,
if,
good luck running that.
Yeah,
As you can see,
that's why I
the reason
say
not
I
a good
mentioned
example, but
their
VRC
funding
mods.
too.
don't do it.
The
Don't.
reason I mentioned their
Don't
funding
do it.
too is because if they're like as you said, their investors see stuff like that, they're gonna realize how much of a bad idea that is, and they're just gonna pull out.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Right, not that like they need, what was it, 4 or 5 billion invested from HTC? Whatever that was.
No, 4 million.
billion?
Seriously.
4
4 million,
million.
whatever it is.
Yeah.
4 million. That's a lot of money to dump into a single game.
Yeah.
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 I mean, it's probably over the course of
impressed.
such and such years.
Yeah,
But,
but
I'm
we're
honestly
still waiting
impressed
on it, by the
Vive
way.
hasn't, or HTC hasn't gotten more involved in VRChat either. Like I'm impressed other companies haven't come in and tried and do stuff with it.
Well,
If
despite
I don't think we're allowed to see that part, though.
despite
yeah,
our
well, obviously.
despite our commitment, like as a like the people sitting here, we're very involved in this game. But you have to keep in mind, it's very, very small scale. 5,000
Mhm.
people is shit in modern
mhm.
gaming.
And compare that to Second Life and Gary's Mod, two of the other like bigger games that do kind of the same thing, but not to the
Yeah.
level that we do them.
Yeah.
They've
Yeah.
gotten legal issues as well, and they've had investors and other stuff of that nature saying, "Hey, yeah, you can do paid stuff, but just don't let us see it." Kind of one of those. We know it's happening, but we don't see it, so we
Yeah.
can't do anything
Mm.
about it.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
I was talking about investors. I don't think like game companies would want to invest in a project with only like 20,000 users. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They're looking for a bigger audience.
Yeah. Because right now, like
Yeah.
I said, it might seem like a lot. You meet new people every day, but we're still a community of about 20,000 people max.
Yeah.
Well, and even to that point of, you remember when Ready Player One came out? You know, that big title that was supposed to push
Yeah.
VR
Yeah.
up and away. They didn't go to for VRChat or any one of the VR games. They went to Roblox
Yeah, it's
because Roblox had more users.
yeah, but it's ridiculous.
That's funny.
They
Yeah.
literally did promotional material with the actors saying, you know, hey, this is how you need to do this thing in Roblox to get to the next key. And they released like a new video like once a week for 3 weeks
Doesn't
before the
Roblox
movie.
get stuff like that all the time though?
Oh yeah,
Like
but
new
again,
movies
their
and stuff.
community
They're
is
huge, yeah.
so huge, but they didn't
That's
go for
funny.
any VR companies. You know, the thing that Ready
Yeah.
Player One was all about, diving into a new reality.
Yeah. I still think our life is better than theirs.
Oh
In a way.
yeah, definitely.
I can agree with that.
It's also more expensive though.
Yeah, I don't care.
Oh, a lot more.
This is
It's
just about
better.
the most expensive game I've ever played. I
Yeah.
mean, the game's free, and then I wanted VR. I was $450, and then I was getting 10 frames, and I wanted a new computer, and then
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
I got the
I'm
That's another reason why HTC invests in
Mhm.
these
I'm
games because they get
eight-
so much profit from it.
I'm
Oh, absolutely.
1,800 euros deep right now.
oh.
Only 190 USD.
I'm more
I
than
was
that.
gonna say
190?
I was gonna say you guys haven't even bought the optional leg DLC like Ghost Turn I did.
Yeah.
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 So
If that's gonna be a little bit more expensive for me because I'm an Oculus. I need to buy 2 lighthouses and 3
That's
trackers,
actually
and
like
then I also need to buy
$100 for
straps.
me.
Straps are hard to get in the Netherlands, by the way.
Yeah, they
I'll
I don't
are.
use
look at
those
that
straps.
option.
I use
I
rubber bands.
use I use 3D printed parts, and I've placed my
Oh, nice.
trackers into shoes that I wear.
I
I
don't
got
know how
rubber
my work
bands
would
around
feel
for my
about me
feet and
using
the
our
camera
3D
mounted on my
printers for
belt.
VR chat.
I
How
don't
many
need
3D printers do you have?
We have one on our lab floor, and then there's a CAD workshop on the floor above us, I think.
That's
Oh,
neat.
okay.
How many does that have?
It's I don't know, I haven't been up there.
I once worked
Okay.
with.
Go up there and take a look.
I have
Yeah,
friends
because
who
I work
work
in a research center, so.
who I have two friends. One of them
Mhm.
does like simple cosplay weapons from 3D printing, but one of my other friends was hired by Marvel to print out
Ooh.
Iron Man armors for the premiere.
Mm.
Oh.
That was insane.
Oh,
Hey, tell me about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's a huge market for 3D printing
Yeah, it's
licenses.
the
because,
only issue is
oh my
that it's
God.
incredibly expensive right now.
Not really though, actually. You
the
can
material
buy a
cost
really
is
good
low.
3D print. You can buy a really good 3D printer for like $200 that can print pretty much
That's-
anything you would want.
That's actually what I got. Is I bought
Yeah,
my
the
own
monoprice?
printer for it's a monoprice Select Mini.
Yeah.
And it has 120 by 100. It's 120 cubed build volume,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
it's got a heated bed and a 4 mil or 0.4 mil nozzle.
I had
Yeah,
no
on it.
idea we were
And it
that far
was-
in 3D printing yet. Thanks for
Yeah,
clearing
no,
up
no,
my mind.
220 US. So
I think
That's-
it might be
that's
bigger
fuck
in the
all.
US than other countries. I don't know if that's accurate, but
All we had was a maker bot.
I know that
Yeah.
in the US there's a lot of even technical high schools who have
Yeah,
like,
but we
a bunch
like
of
our
shops
high
that have
schools
3D
have
printers
them
and
too,
stuff
but
that-
the home
Yeah.
printer stuff is very recent.
Okay.
Mhm.
But we
Yeah.
have deep fried snacks from a wall.
Yes, true. And pancake
I was
boats.
actually planning on
Don't
buying
even
one of
bring
the
up the
model
pancake
price
boats.
because my shop
I just
bought a
bought like
couple of
I just
them.
70
did. What are
bucks
you gonna
worth of
do about it?
material.
Your
I
whole
got some
your whole
TPU
country is a
deflexible
joke.
stuff. I
Nice.
got some metal composite aluminum material, so I can, it's like
Oh,
it's
that's
it's
cool.
metal particles
They're having their own cast over
suspended
here.
in PLA, so that you
Sorry.
can actually polish it.
Nice.
Yeah, well, we should do engineering stuff for a podcast sometime.
I
I love how
don't.
That'd be a good
we
one for
definitely
that.
drifted way far off that topic.
I
of our
don't
original-
think I know enough engineers. I know a few
I'm
engineer
training to be one.
mains, but I don't think that counts.
We have
Nice.
isn't like the whole bar crawl engineers.
Oh,
Pretty
here,
much.
here.
No, there's
Like, I know
about
Pink-
there's
I know
about
Pinky.
Guys,
I know
guys,
Pinky's one.
guys.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Back on topic.
One of our
Alright.
friends says,
there's only a couple of us who do the industry stuff, so
please.
Go ahead.
no,
Um,
absolutely not.
One of my friends says I made my own straps. Well, how did you make your own straps? Now I'm curious. But let's move on.
Nylon leggings.
Okay,
Nice.
okay. Oh, right.
Duct tape.
Cyber, you create your own world.
Yes.
Tell us about that, because that's basically
Alright.
copyright free.
You didn't tell me I make my own world either, did you?
Probably not.
Ah, come on, man.
It's fine. You can add your world into it if you want. But so basically, when I joined VRChat, I noticed all these people creating worlds and avatars, and I have some training in like professional CAD programs and whatnot. So I was like, okay, let's see if I can find a way to port things over from the program I use into VRChat or just into Unity in general. So I started messing with that as like a side hobby, and then I actually got it to work. I had a map in VRChat, and I got pretty far into development into that one, but then I kind of messed up with the way I made the model, and it kind of limited me to how I could make it. So I kind of restarted and rethought about how I made models, and I kind of found a better way to port them over the VRChat.
Yeah.
But basically, I was just God, I'm trying to think. Here, sorry, I'm a little off topic. He started talking about engineering stuff, so I'm a little off topic.
Yeah, let's not get into that. How about that?
Yeah. But basically, I just wanted to see what I could make in VRChat and how I could apply my real world knowledge to VRChat.
You're out of frame now, so you really need to
am
get
I?
closer to
Sorry.
Ghoster. Yeah, there you
Here, okay, sorry.
go. No worries.
I didn't know that. But I just started messing with the models and whatnot, and I ported my map over the VRChat. So this is the actual model that I've made
Yeah.
for my map. So
If you get a little
actually...
closer, like here, you could show it off.
Yeah, just block
Yeah.
my view. Just
There we go.
those. Just
So-
make me invisible. That's fine.
Ooh.
Basically, the way that the program that I use actually makes models is you actually draw 2D sketches and then you extrude it. So it's an actual professional CAD program.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I was trained my freshman year of high school how to use it, like professionally. So I decided I'd use that knowledge to make a map.
Yeah, do you use
But,
AutoCAD or what do you use?
Autodesk Inventor Pro, actually.
Oh yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
I worked with that too.
Wow. Autodesk basically has the market cornered then. Jeez.
Yeah. Autodesk really does have the 3D
Oh my.
printing everything, man. It's
Yes.
crazy.
Oh,
yes.
they do.
The biggest thing with Autodesk is, and why I like their program so much, is that most of their programs have interoperability with each other. So you can port this model over to Revit or to 3ds Max without any
and
issues.
they're
You can-
very easy to learn and very user friendly.
Yes. Minus Eagle. Eagle is a circuit board program which has the largest learning curve.
No,
of
but
any other
I'm
program
talking
I've ever
about
seen.
3D modeling, 3D printing
Yeah.
software. It's a very good place to start, and it has a lot of room for you to grow
Yeah.
as a person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a good way. I found it as a great way to actually just expand my creativity in certain things. So each one of these floors has its own unique design. I didn't want to find any inspiration from anything on offline because I just wanted to see if I could make something like this, and this is what it turned out as. Obviously, this didn't happen in a day. The actual model for it didn't take too long, just because of my training I've had. It only took me about 20-ish hours, but that was over a span of like a week, probably, to make the whole model for it.
Yeah.
And then I've also redone some of the models for it. But, where was I going with that?
Look at my pretty world.
Look at my
I
Yeah,
like
it's
world.
so
myself.
pretty. But, right.
Yeah.
I found it as a good way to expand my creativity. I don't know.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's,
No,
that's
but it
that's
is.
why I was going with it.
It
Right.
is. I've
Um,
been with your creation since one of the very first beta versions of your original Phoenix Club, and I've
Yeah.
recently been to the Phoenix Reborn, and
Yeah.
well done. That's all I can
Yeah.
say. If you're in VRChat, please check out his world. It's the Phoenix
Yeah.
Reborn. It's great. It's really nice, and it's incredibly fun to hang around in. Good, well
Yep,
optimized too.
Yeah. The main point of it too is that stuff like this is the main reason I'm still in VR chat today. Like I have over 1,000 hours in this game at this point, and the only reason that I've ever even been able to do that is because I've had the ability to mess with my own avatars, my own worlds, and stuff like that.
Yeah, but
exactly.
that's why I'm so against limiting creativity, because it will limit the
Yeah.
fun.
Exactly.
What's your favorite? No.
What's your favorite idea? Mine's being
Mine's being
creative.
creative.
How do you get that idea? By thinking
But yeah,
I was
creatively.
Getting back on the trust system from earlier, I've actually seen a pretty good suggestion in the VRChat Discord about that.
Yeah.
I think what he said and what I fully agree with is the ideal system would be that new users can upload models straight away within some very well-defined limits. So basically, no audio sources, no particle systems, whitelisted shaders only. Basically, all he really gets is a skin mesh renderer, and that's it.
Yeah, which is fair. Really, like,
and then
what
once
harm
you-
can you do
once
with
you get
just
trust-
the model?
Well, basically nothing. I mean, I guess you can make loop models, but that would just get you banned forever. I think the main point of the trust system. The main point of the trust system was initially to try and curb the crashing a little bit, say with the particle limiter. But as long as they literally do not have access to those until they have like trust, then it's fine. The newer people aren't going to be messing around with particle systems immediately anyway. They can just start putting their stuff in the game. Yeah.
I know.
And I think it would be a much better system than just blanket banning people.
I agree. I think that sounds like a really good idea.
I agree. I think we should support that. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think it's on the canny already. So
okay.
Just check it out. Maybe.
I know that I didn't start touching Blender stuff till like maybe 25 plus hours in the game, and that was even just.
I
like,
started
touching it,
almost
even looking
immediately.
at it.
Guys,
Wow.
here's a little joke, because I started singing the song. Miss Stabby reacted. She said, "Green is not a creative color, GV." And then Shush and
true.
Hackers, who both have green names, say, "What? Green is the best color." And look at me. I'm green. Today I am.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
I'm green. Every once in a while,
Yes.
I turn green.
My wings turn green.
Switch to it. Oh, it's green for me. I don't know about
I'm
you guys.
absolutely
No
not green
on
at
your
all.
rock.
No, you're
green.
You're mostly purple.
Sorry, buddy.
And you know, I just noticed this,
Wait.
and it's completely off
Does
topic.
anybody want to be
But-
not green?
But your legs, they look like ice cream cones. Oh,
Oh god.
Oh God.
He's doing
Never
the
green.
thing.
Yeah, they kind of do. They
Oh,
kind of do it.
jeez.
Now we're all green. Oh
Now we're
God.
saturated.
And we're all purple.
Just dab.
Oh.
Dab.
just dab.
Just dab.
At this point, there's
Never
really
get out
no
of
other
windows.
choice.
Solution
Oh,
for
yeah.
everything.
Okay, that was wacky.
It's okay, buddy.
That
Yeah.
was.
I want to thank Zero for that shader. That was an
That's
amazing
funky,
shader I
dude.
got from him.
That's
really
a
cool.
that's a nice one. Yeah, shaders.
I've seen it before. a
Shaders
while
are
ago.
incredibly
Well,
fun.
Wasn't he the guy who got banned because one of the people he did commissions for got banned, and then he got banned by association, which
Yes.
also sucks? Oh,
Rough.
Aw.
Rough,
That
rough,
sucks.
rough.
Yeah.
He's been dealing with a lot of issues with him getting banned for weird reasons. So yeah.
Yeah.
Rock, you're all hunched over. You look really weird.
Looks
You,
okay to
you
me.
look weird.
No,
you
no,
look weird.
No, you look really weird.
Oh god, the animes are fighting.
Oh, God.
Yeah, it's fixed. You were like
Okay,
this.
yeah, that happens sometimes. Yeah,
No,
that,
don't worry,
that
just give him
happens,
a
that
mirror
happened to
and then
Lakusa
also
as well.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Every
He was just
time.
sliding around in his seat. I think it's because I emoted.
Yeah.
Probably.
But
What's-
what were we talking about before that interruption? I forgot actually.
Yeah, own
Worlds.
creation. Your own
Yeah.
own worlds.
Oh yeah,
Can I talk about mine?
exactly.
Yeah,
Sure.
sure.
Yeah.
So many-
Go ahead.
Talk about yours.
I want to talk about all mine.
Go ahead.
So I love how you guys were saying earlier that you guys like within the first 20 or 30 hours
Mhm.
were already in Blender making stuff. It took me
Mhm.
like 5 months before I actually
Jesus.
started blendering stuff.
Oof.
I got all my assets from other places, but in VRChat, my very first world I ever made, which actually isn't here anymore because it's back in 5.3,
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
was a try to escape tower. It was
Ah.
like one of the first ones I ever did. And so you'd go through these different levels, find the button or whatever, and go to the next level.
So an
I
escape
made a
room.
few other worlds. Yep. One of the first. I've actually done a lot of one of the first worlds here. The other one was the Infinity Room / Inception Cube, which was a mind-boggling world. If you were ever there for 5.3.
No.
Basically, I took a bunch of cameras and I
Mhm.
had them looking down. I had you inside an enclosed box. And when you walked up to a wall, I did the Inception move where you could start walking up the wall.
Oh, that's peculiar.
Oh.
And you could go between every single wall and you could see people on different levels
You
just
tried
looking
porting
around.
it over to this version, didn't you?
Yeah, I did, but the problem was because there were so many cameras, literally
It
it was
was
unplayable. Unplayable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've
Oh,
heard
yeah, yeah.
talk.
Cool.
I've heard talk that they're planning on updating the Unity thing soon because if they what's it called?
Mm.
If they
Probably
wait
not.
with that,
TM.
like
Soon TM.
the longer they wait,
It's just like 5.3 all over, or
The-
5.6 all over again.
the more shit it gets. Like the harder
Yeah.
it gets to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
and with
exactly.
a bigger user base, it gets harder to do that full upgrade. And even then,
Totally.
like when I tried to port that Inception Cube into 5.6 version, it worked okay. There was a lot of triggers that I had to fix, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
like just the cameras, the camera system and how they were rendered or done was changed
Yeah.
to the point where normally I'd run at 45 frames in 5.3. I was running at 15 in 5.6.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's something I
Yeah.
have noticed. I've only been playing since late January, early February, and with every update, while we get new features, the performance suffers.
Yeah,
Yes.
seems to get worse every time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I've
And
I've
then
noticed
the devs blame it on avatars, even though they themselves set the limits. So yeah,
Yeah.
but I think we've already discussed that.
Well,
The other
yeah.
more important world that I've made that I'm currently updating or overhauling is a
Mhm.
beer pong world. Like I said, I make a lot of first worlds, so escape rooms, Inception styled rooms, and then my latest one, which was a beer pong room, where basically there's a bunch of tables with cups on them, and you throw balls. So it's kind of like
So you're
Ping
that guy.
pong,
I
but-
think I've seen you before.
Yeah, I get it.
I can show you the updated world
you-
later
do
today.
you
And I actually started adding
attend-
slots
Do you
Awesome.
attend the developer updates?
occasionally.
Yeah, because I think I've seen that. It's in the forest, right?
You've seen the overhaul edition, and that was the old build. I've actually upgraded it massively and improved in
Mm.
performance by having an enclosure, and that enclosure has 4 different tables you can select from. So instead of having all the tables preset out, you can select from different tables, limiting the amount of object sync that's going on.
Oh, that's cool.
Mm.
Yeah, no shush. That's why I said it because I remembered. And Shaslik said, "Oh yeah, we've been there.
Mhm.
Thanks for the
Yeah,
confirmation."
you were testing the performance.
Yeah, we were.
And
we
it was
were.
terrible.
Yeah, but we could pong. We could pong. I pong.
As long as you can pong.
I pong.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the most important part.
Indeed, because it's a beer pong.
As long as the
world.
beer pong works,
Yeah, and it
Yes.
works.
that's all you need.
Mhm,
I remember.
mhm.
I remember just standing there and then throwing the ball, and then it was very satisfying.
Particle.
Yeah. That's a good
Particles.
Barticle. Yeah. Is there anything else anyone wishes to discuss on this subject? Any
We have
last
discussed already.
words? Yeah.
Not really.
I'm not. Yeah, I don't have anything.
I guess plugs at this point.
Looks.
So I know Cyber runs a Discord. I run a Discord. You guys run your Discord.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, but
Um,
we
yeah.
were about to get to that, but I was talking like,
Oh.
is there anything you wish to say on the matter, like on the subject, on the copyright
Yeah.
subject, before we end?
I don't think.
I feel
think,
like-
I think we're good.
When VRChat gets in trouble, that's when the rules are gonna, start changing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But it's kind of one of those hard subjects to gauge when it's gonna happen.
yeah,
I mean, in Second
Yeah.
Life, it kind of happens a little bit,
yeah,
and then people forgot about it and continue doing what they were doing.
yeah,
And Gary's mod, it's happened, and then they kind of forgot about it and continued what they're doing.
yeah,
It's kind of a trend where a company gets in trouble, or the game company gets in trouble. Community then has to, file by these new rules, and then they kind of sort of go back to where they were.
yeah,
Yeah.
Simply because in the game like this, where you can be anything, anyone, and do anything,
yeah,
quite literally,
yeah,
people are going to choose their favorites.
yeah.
So-
Of course.
Yeah.
Favorite anime, favorite game, TV show,
Didn't even mean to do that.
custom avatar. There are so many
That's a big
different
custom
sources to pull
avatar.
from to be anyone you choose, and the anonymity of the fact that it's almost realistic enough where you can go up and I can pet
Yeah.
this guy.
Yeah,
I can't feel it,
Thanks.
but I can pet him.
Oh, that's just a matter when handshake suits come out.
Oh
Ba-
man,
Hey,
dude,
hey,
you're gonna
hey,
have
battle-
so much fun with those.
Battletoad.
All right, the military is working on some really cool stuff like that. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna
because
say.
they want to train
I
their
get some
soldiers in
inside
VR
info
instead
because
of,
of,
on a battlefield.
Yeah. Oh, that's
That's,
okay. So there's this place called Mine Trek that's near me. The guy who's
Oh.
owned Sky Zone sold Sky Zone and bought an African VR training military company and converted it into a game mode. So you have this like 500 square foot area with sensors. You get given a gun, a headset, and a VR backpack, and you're just completely immersed in the like a combat scenario.
Ooh,
That's interesting.
pretty cool.
That's something
It's like
new.
$50 an hour though. It is not cheap.
Well,
That's
yeah.
actually pretty
Yeah.
cheap for such an experience. That is actually pretty cheap, I must say.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, and you're not getting real shot at. You're not bleeding. You're not, you're not taking bullets. You're not screaming at somebody as he's
But
dying
they-
on the ground next to you.
But they
Yeah.
have their
Well,
own
you might be
custom
screaming. I don't
everything.
know.
I don't know.
You might be
They have
screaming.
their
I know
own
I would
license.
scream.
their own trackers.
If you want to
their
scream,
own
people, just scream.
everything.
Just do it.
Okay.
No,
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not an
Alien
ear, though.
772!
Not here. No.
Alienware even gave them their own custom backpacks.
That's
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's fun.
Yeah, there's something.
That sounds
This is
interesting.
a little something I want to mention. This is something incredibly weird that I've recently discovered, and it surprises me that nobody talks about this.
Mhm.
But do I have an Acer or an Asus? Which one is the
Asus.
the PC company?
they both make
They're
laptops and
both-
PCs.
Well, I
think-
I think yours is an Acer.
Yeah,
Yours
I
is an
think
Acer.
I think I have
Your
an
desktop
Acer.
is an Acer.
The company who created, like Acer created a backpack, something called a VR pack. Nobody has talked
Yep.
about this, but I've recently seen it in a store, and it's basically a very small supercomputer to wear on your back, so you can do unrestricted VR, and it's insane.
Oh, yeah. Because it's
Yeah.
got a battery pack. I believe it has a micro ATX motherboard along with, of course, a CPU and a
And-
compact,
and-
laptop style GPU.
Here's the most insane part: it only costs $500.
What
for
the
a
fuck?
VR ready backpack. So
But you still have to buy
Don't
the
mind me. I'm
VR.
gonna go spend $500 on something totally unrelated later today. So
I definitely think I might need that. I mean, definitely don't need that. I mean, I've already got my
Yeah.
rig, but I know a friend who would
Yeah.
love that.
no, but that's
He has,
like
one, of, he has one of
it's-
those Alienware Steam machines.
oh my
because
God.
I've
He
seen
calls
it.
that a PC.
Alienware Alpha? Alienware Alpha?
Are you telling me that Alienware Steam machine is actually a PC?
And then my
It
Steam
basically
machine.
is. It is.
Alright.
Steam machines are PCs.
They don't even make Steam machines anymore, do they?
crappy. No, they don't, and they stopped supporting them too. They stopped rolling out updates for them.
GV, how you doing?
Oh, right. No, it's not Acer. Miss Stabby just pulled me out of my delusion.
Yeah?
It is a HP Omen virtual reality backpack.
Okay.
She
HP
said-
The Omen.
She
Yeah.
said, I wore it, and it was quite awesome.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
so yeah, HP Omen. Yeah, I was confused.
Wait, that would
I
mean, like,
remember it
that
now,
would
though.
mean I'd have all HP stuff then, because my mixed reality is HP as well.
HP fanboy.
Well, you know that's
Fanboy.
no.
There's nothing wrong with
That's,
being a
not, that's
fanboy.
just a style.
Dude, I'm
that's
a
not the
Nintendo
actual
fanboy.
I
HP.
Dude, I can
really,
just walk around
Ryan.
my house then.
I really
just realized.
and you-
do like.
Wait, do you have the Vive?
Yeah.
If you have the Vive, you have to
HP
put base
stuff.
stations literally everywhere and have fun trying to set
Mixed
up that room
reality.
scale.
Yeah.
Mixed
haven't had an issue
Also,
with them.
lets you walk
like
anywhere.
aside from
Oh my
HP,
Yeah,
I
but-
I would like to recommend Corsair. I like
Mhm.
Corsair
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
It looks great.
I
it
have their
works great.
H60 closed loop cooler, and it is amazing.
Yeah.
Like
Nice.
I've done video renders, and my temperature will hit like I want to say right close to the thermal throttle limit,
Yeah.
and then immediately after it stops, within about a minute, it's back down to idle. Like not even
That's
Nice.
idle temps.
Nice.
Oh yeah, but yeah, Corsair. Like I used to use Razer because they had like themed products.
Mm.
They
I
had
hate
like
Razer now.
products with themes, like
Yeah.
Overwatch back in the day, and
Oh yeah.
I know Razer is expensive, and Razer gets a lot of shit. And yes, it's overpriced, but I like their stuff, honestly. But now that I'm older and flashy lights don't really do it for me, I'd rather stick to Corsair.
Yeah, I get that. There's a little thing going on there.
Guys, do we need to
Wasn't,
stop?
Would you like to join?
No.
No, no. Okay, so plugs. You can find me here. You can check out my YouTube. You can add me on VRChat under GV-97. I'll be on most of tonight. So if you want to hang out, just add me and let's hang out.
Don't forget the Discord as well. We have a Discord
Oh,
for,
yeah.
for the
We
you
have a
Discord for the stream, right?
We have a Discord for the stream. Please join it because it'd just be really nice to interact with the people who watch the stream outside of the stream because I care about that. I think connecting with your fan base is one of the most important parts in internet interaction. So
No.
please feel free to join the Discord.
Your turn, Rock.
Your turn.
I don't have any plugs.
Okay.
I have
your
any plugs.
turn. G1.
Okay, I'm just G1 fan. Just G1 fan in VRChat, capital G. Rest of it's lowercase.
You can find them on
no.
Traders.
No, yeah, I'm in the Traders Discord. That place is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in tight with the owner. It's
Tell me
no
more.
big deal.
Tell
No
me
big deal.
more.
Okay. Ghoster.
Yeah.
Wow. Just skipping right to me. All right. Well, for you, I've actually got not that I personally put this on for you, but if I stand up,
Ooh.
I've got this gesture. Here we go. I've got this. If this is where your camera is, it's got my Discord tag and the server invite.
Oh yeah.
If you can't see that,
I still need to make one of those.
Oh
Yeah,
wait,
same.
no, it doesn't
I
have
just
Discord
made
invite.
my
I keep,
own
I keep
Discord
thinking
tag.
about like I keep thinking about doing that, but then I don't.
The
But
VRC Traders is in
anyway-
the community service on the VRChat Discord. That's a good place to
Yeah,
people to
so
find
I
it.
am the second one down from the very top, unfortunately. On
So
the
close.
community servers of the official VRChat Discord, or you can type this link into your PC, discord.gg/6, lowercase xn, capital K, lowercase yf5. And that will get you an invite link, or
Hey.
you can just ask somebody to find it for you.
Hey, Rogue, poor Vive man can't
Awesome.
access his desktop while wearing a headset. A minute.
Oh, he can, but it's Steam Desktop. The Steam Desktop is pretty bad.
Steam Desktop's not good.
It sucks.
Unfortunately, when I open my
Hello.
There he goes.
Oculus overlay, everything just crashes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I can tell.
Cyber.
Cyber.
Your plug.
Just honestly, the only plug I have right now is you can add me on in-game if you want. I'm down to hang out with anyone, and go check out my map. It has a link to my Discord for the map in there if you want. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Oh yeah, I do actually have a plug. Please just add me on this game that we are currently in, Rock ROKK,
And visit
make
his-
sure to visit my avatar world.
Yeah.
Well,
Full of
it has clearly
optimized avatars.
optimized models.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are
Yeah, exactly.
optimized.
They're all one material.
If you can't find my map too, it's on Community Spotlight usually. It's called the Phoenix Reborn.
That's cool.
What?
Awesome.
Dude,
Yeah.
that's the one problem I have is like I built these worlds and I never see anybody in them, like ever.
There's
Out
a
of the
lot of
20 worlds
there's
I've
a
built.
lot of people dealing with that issue, and I think that's depressing because there are definitely
big-
nice worlds out there that deserve to
Yeah.
take the place of the worlds that are popular now.
Yeah, exactly.
There's a recent bug with the newest SDK they released that if you get it, it basically breaks your instance of the world that you're in after about 5
Oh.
minutes of being in it,
Yeah.
and then it will black screen you, send you to a new instance of that world, and
Oh,
then
yeah,
people
I
who are
have
in the
had
broken
that
instance can't
issue.
drop a
We
portal.
had that yesterday with that
I've
marriage
had that
world.
a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
See, this is why I
that's
don't
been
update
happening.
my SDK until they tell us we need to.
Yeah, exactly. Same.
Yeah, same.
But it should be fixed in the next SDK update, I've heard. But
Yeah.
So good.
That's
I,
nice.
it's
I
on
wonder
my
if the
map.
5.3
My map
SDK still
acquired it.
works.
So
I heard it can also happen if the instance owner leaves, then everything just breaks. No portals, no nothing.
yeah.
That depends if
I
there's
do.
master
I can
triggers.
confirm that. It actually doesn't though.
Oh, it's not
Because
master
on my
triggers?
map, I have on my map there is no master triggers. But if say I had or I had master status in the world and I get kicked back to my home for some random reason, then people who are in that instance can't actually use my teleporters anymore. They just don't. They cease to stop.
Oh yeah,
working,
you
I've
told us
noticed.
about
And
that.
I've been
That's
in there when someone
peculiar.
else did. When
But,
it happened to me,
I
I
think-
couldn't use them either. So
I think we should call it a day here.
Yes.
We'll be
Yeah.
talking after the stream, so if you want to join us, just send me a friend request and request to join this server so you can talk with us in person. And thanks for watching, and we'll see you Tuesday. Goodbye.
Hey.
see ya.
Bye.
Hello.
See ya.